Hi guys, a very warm welcome, and in this video we are going to see how we can work on the API gateway, and we'll try to create one API example. So here you can see that I have logged in into my AWS account, and I'm going to switch the region to Oregon. So let's say I click on Oregon, and once the Oregon dashboard is available, I'm going to search for the API gateway service, and the demo that I would be doing, we would be following the steps from this particular documentation, and here I'm going to import, build and test an example API. So let's look into it. So I'm in the Oregon region. We'll search for the API gateway, build, deploy and manage APIs. Click on it, and the first thing what we need to do is, once we open up the API gateway, we need to select for the REST API. So this is an API gateway dashboard. Let's wait for it. And here we need to create a REST API. So what we need to do, we have to click on build, or if we are importing some examples or samples, then we just have to click on import. So that's what the document also says, that under REST API we have to select build, and then we are going to create an example API. So we'll click on build under the REST API. So this dashboard appears where it asks us to create a new API, which is going to be the REST API. Now here under create new API, since we are importing an example, so we just have to keep the example API only, and this is the API request and responses mentioned in the JSON format. So we just have to click on import. So once we import it, our API example is available with us, and this API that an example API that we have imported from the AWS sample APIs is a pet store API, and its task is to update, or we can post a new pet like a dog and the price of a dog, a cat, a price of the cat. We can post it, and then we can get that information also. So we can either create a get method, and also we can post a new pet with the help of the post method. We can do a posting here. Also we can use a post method with the help of some third-party APIs like Postman and Swagger as well. We can explore that as well. So what we need to do, let's say if I need to add a new pet, so what we are going to do, we are just going to click on post, and there will be the post method that will be available with you. And if you want to get any information from the API, you just have to click on the get method execution, and you get the get method request steps. Now the next thing is, we are going to add a new pet. So how we can do that? I'll just click on post, and there will be an option called test. So I'm just going to click on test, and in the request body I'm going to add these values which I have already pasted on the notepad. The type is going to be the dog, that is the type of the pet, and the price of the pet is going to be 249.99. So just copy that and paste it here. Alright, it's done. Now we are going to test it, and it is going to give us a result. The message is success, and this information has been written on the API as well. Now if I want to get the information about the pets, I can click on get method execution, click on the test, again click on the test, and at the right side I get an output. So ID1 type dog, price 249.99, ID2 type cat, price 124.99, ID3 type fish, price 0.99. So these are the pets that are added. Now what we are going to do, we are going to deploy this API on the API gateway. So how we can deploy the API? We just have to click on the actions, click on the deploy API, select the stage. Let's say it's a new stage, and the stage name is, let's say I put something like pet store, or I'll just put it like this, pet store 1, and deploy it. So once I click on the deploy, but our API will be deployed on the AWS API Gateway. And afterwards, you just have to click on your API, you get a URL to invoke it. So when you click on this invoke URL, you get the information about all the pets. So that's what it says. Welcome to your pet store API from this URL. In case if you want to get some request or an information, you just have to click on get request and you get all those details printed here. And in case if you want to add a new pet, for example, then what you need to do, you can use a third-party client like Postman or Swagger, and you can try to post a new pet and its price directly on this API. So for example, if I click on the get request here, I get the update from the API. I get the output from the API, and these are the pets that were already added in the API with the help of the API. So likewise guys, you can build your own APIs also, and you can integrate it with some third-party applications which are outside AWS. Along with that, the API gateway can be integrated internally with the AWS services like AWS Lambda, or with the DynamoDB and many other AWS services. In case if you want to do the troubleshooting of your API, then you just have to click on logs tracing. You can enable the logs, and once you enable the CloudWatch logs, the logging starts, and whatever the put and get request comes to the API, that will be reported in the CloudWatch logs. In case if you are going to integrate your API with some third-party tools like Postman, then you need to get the API keys generated. And how you can get the API keys generated? You just have to click on API keys, and here you just have to go to the action and click on create an API key. If your third-party API gives you the keys, then you can import the API keys directly on the API gateway as well. So let's say if I click on create an API key and put the API key name, click on auto generate and save it, you would find that a new API key will be created. Let's try that. And save it. So just click on the API keys, show API key. Here is the API key, and this API key you have to update on a platform through which you are going to connect with the API gateway. So let's say if it is going to be a third-party API tool, you have to update this API key there itself. So that's how the integration happens with the third-party tools with the API gateway, guys. Thank you for watching this video.